Hey everybody, so I'm going to redo this video because it's been a while since I've gone over the technical portions of high blood pressure and prostaglandins because I've been doing so much of the macro that I haven't exercised the micro technological explanations of the fears out there around salt and high blood pressure and dehydration. And so I used a wrong word that totally said the antithesis, and I'm like, oh my God. So I had to go and delete some stuff because anyways, so whatever. So anyways, when to join a movement, okay? When you join a movement is when every single person is affected where they have a dog in that fight. Like every person has a dog in that fight. And if you are debating, if you are trying to sway somebody into saying they have a problem, that your government's your problem, this should be your problem, that should be your problem. When you're telling someone this is your problem, you know that this is a war of perceptions, because that's what we're dealing with, is war of perceptions. Like I've been looking at all the different responses out there to the BLM, to the riots, to, I don't know, the New World Order and all the people's fears around communism and all of that. And I get it. I mean, I have my own fears on what the future brings, but I also know what I am capable of. And I know that innately humans want to live. All humans want to live. And so right now we have a lot of imbalanced people who have these crazy perceptions that somebody's out to get them. The government's trying to kill them. Someone's out to get them. And so they are living through the lens of paranoia. Okay? And so this is where I also know that every reaction is a perception. Okay, when you don't react, you're not going to put out a perception out there that may not be shared by a lot of different people. I know that I'll put out a perception, or I will respond to people's perceptions because they may be writing a post that speaks to something that I've covered currently. And though I know I respond with a perception because they have their own perception, it doesn't mean that my perception is their truth. Okay? And that's like when you watch some of these shows and these movies, especially in the law, in the like these courtroom dramas, the lawyers are always talking about perception. What they're trying to sway a jury is to buy into the perpetrator's perception that they were under attack, that they were, if they didn't act first, then the other person would have. And so even though that may have not been the correct perception, but that was his perception, then it's proving that there was no way he could have known the other person didn't have a gun or didn't have this. And so then you're dealing with perceptions to where is this perception going to then get you a get out of jail free card. Okay? So, and perceptions cause chaos in this world. Perceptions cause chaos in this world. Perceptions are seen through emotions. Perceptions are diagnosable diseases. Perceptions are when somebody is bringing up love and hate on a continuous basis, adrenaline and oxytocin and the fight or flight and all of that, where, you know, you're constantly traumatizing your audience with all of your posts and how someone's going to go out and kill you or whatever because you believe the government's going out to do that and you think that all these different factions are out to do. No, I mean, that's living from perception. That's not living from facts. Facts are rarely ever brought into any of these arguments in politics, whether it's Fox News, whether it's InfoWars, whether it's CNN, it's all the war of perception. And then when you get caught up in perception, guess what? You don't take care of your own body, mind, and spirit. And so then we get into the perception of what pain is. We get the perception of what jelly juice is. And so there are people on jelly juice that are seeing tremendous results, okay? And they are self-reflecting. I can see myself and a lot of you. I've been down roads where I was chasing after fantasies, chasing after a perception that you have to be, you know, married, you have to have a kid, you have to be in a great relationship. And then you live from these chemistries, these biochemistries that there isn't a mutual respect as a foundation, and it's just chemistry alone. And when chemistry changes, the love changes. You know, the perception changes. And so, you know, and when you're dealing, and when your relationships are predicated upon biochemistry, it's not going to be a very stable foundation. Love is conditional. Hate is conditional. Oh, if you don't believe in my party, then I'm going to hate you and I'm going to say this and I'm going to say that. And then you see all the fear campaigns out there. And so that's why Jilly just is taking herself out of the war, because there is no war. The war is in here. You guys are fighting your own battles that you're projecting out there, and then you're trying to elicit members to your perception. And then this is how then you get the collective factions out there that will cause damage to your society because you bought into the fight. You gave them something to fight about. And so I've seen in my world that I did react in the beginning because I felt like I was going to be challenged, that my life and limb was going to be challenged. My town was going to be challenged. That's what I felt in the beginning when all these riots were happening. Even when the COVID was happening, I felt that my body, mind, and spirit were going to be challenged. My husband's going to be challenged. And let me tell you, I was ready for war. I was ready for a fight. And Facebook was like, okay, your emotions are really way out there. We're going to put you on a 24-hour, 5150 hold. That's what these Facebook jails are. It's basically a 24-hour hold or a 3-day hold, or some of you haven't figured out you're on 30-day holds. Okay? Well, I realized that there wasn't a universal issue on everybody. That there was a few people in our society that have that have an issue, that have a perception that they are discriminated against. And I wouldn't necessarily disagree, because we definitely do have latent racism in our society. We frown upon it, but let me tell you, race always comes up in some way, shape, or form, and there's no way around it. And so if somebody really has a dog, they has a dog in their fight, whatever, I'm going to stop using that because it just doesn't make sense anymore. But if somebody really feels like they have an axe to grind, they have something that they need to get out and come to surface, then let them do it. It's their healing process. And so the way to know when to join a movement, is when everybody is universally affected, to where it's like boots on the ground, another country is attacking you, and it's collectively all over the place. Every single area is being bombarded. Yeah, we did have some kind of attack a couple weeks ago where different cities were being looted, okay? And that definitely was something where, yes, we all were ready to go to arms. We're all ready to go and fight. And then another balancing force, like our government, came in and kind of just chilled everything out. And other forces came in and chilled things out. So it didn't escalate. I mean, it's still right now, we're still seeing stuff happening, skirmishes here and there, but it's not happening to you personally. Okay? So that's when you know that it's not really prudent to join a movement when it's about war of perceptions. Okay? So the fight isn't out there, it's within here, but how do you tell someone that it's not on the JJs? How do you tell somebody that we need to survive this change in our society? Okay, we need to change we need to survive the changes in the society. And so the perceptions around J-Juice, and I have to go back to the technical portion of it, because sometimes since I've been dealing with the macro so much that I've been kind of forgetting the micro. And high blood pressure is when you have prostaglandin hormones that are being inhibited and are being constricted by the microbials, the anti-inflammatories, the antibiotics, the pills, powder supplements, and the painkillers. And it causes the blood vessels to constrict to where when you actually have predispositions in your cardiovascular system and you're dehydrated, the body has to then bring up the antidiuretic hormone, which brings up water and it brings up volume in your blood, and then it's trying to force that blood through those constricted blood vessels. So the Jilly Juice actually expands your blood vessels. So there's expansion and there's contraction. Expansion is opening it up, widening. Contraction or constriction is making narrower, so it's harder for anything to come through. And so the Jilly Juice and the salt will always expand the blood vessels. And then when somebody is dehydrated and they're not drinking enough water, that's when the antidiuretic hormone is being forced to then thicken up the blood with water to then allow the blood to keep going through, because that is your saving grace, is the fact that you have salt in your body and that you have salt out there to take in to bring up that antidiuretic hormone. which means that you're not going to be losing water. You'll be retaining water. So when you eat salt and you retain water, you'll never be dehydrated, because the chili juice and salt will release the prostaglandin hormones and then expand the blood vessels. And that's all substantiated in PubMed. Okay? And so chili juice is about taking your body off the market. There's no more commodifying your body parts. You're not going to be compartmentalizing your body by taking the pills, power supplements, and detoxes and procedures. You're going to face all of your different predispositions that you've been suppressing with painkillers and everything else, and you're going to have to deal with it. Those that are against J-Juice like to be anesthetized. They are the pleasure seekers. They are the pleasure chasers. They also are the victims / predators in our society. They are projecting their very fears because somebody has challenged their truths, and so automatically they will label anything that is subversive to their reality as something to demonize and then bully. Okay? And that is the society that we live in. Look around you. Do you see how many kids are being bullied by other kids because they don't fit the specific paradigm that they have? You know how hard it is for kids to go to school in this society when there are factions in some of these schools that terrorize kids that don't fit the model? That's how bullies happen. It happens in school because kids are trained by their parents to promote a discrimination and to promote a way to be. And if you don't fit the way to be, then, oh my God, they're going to find ways to make you. And pain is one of the biggest one of the methodologies to get somebody to behave in a such a way or destroy. Okay? Because when you hurt somebody, not because you're bringing up predispositions, but when you hurt somebody through pain, that is a way to control. Because now that pain's attached to an ideology, like watching people loot and watch people set fires. That's painful to watch your community go up in flames. And so that pain is attached to then this political message, and then that's how people start that's how you shape society. Okay? And that's no different in out there in the politics as far as the schoolyard. All right, but bullyism and all of these types of tactics happen in the schoolyard, and then it translates into an adult. And so when you see your friends taking on activist stances, when you see your friends saying, "Oh my God, you gave your kids a vaccine," or "Oh my God, you go see a doctor," "Oh my God, you do this," and they're ridiculing their friends, you are applying the same tactics that a bully in a schoolyard has done to your child who didn't fit the model of the day. And so that's because of imbalances. And so we just have to remember that every single reaction we all have is based upon a perception. And you may have a shared perception. Every single symptom, all symptoms, is the body trying to adapt to its environment. If you have a lot more symptoms and you're always living from fight or flight and love and hate, you are trying to adapt to an environment that you just can't seem to adapt to. Okay? And so that is an indicator of imbalance. It's when you are able to, or it's when I'm able to adapt to an environment without having to bring up those hormones on a continuous basis. So every single symptom, every single reaction you get, whether there's a trigger from something in the media to something physiologically in your body, mind, and spirit, that is the body trying to adapt to a new condition. And if it's really painful and it's really just extreme, your body is very compromised. Okay? Your body, mind, and spirit are very compromised. And so, you have to realize that everybody out there, everyone out there that's doing these things that you are against, they believe in life as well. The reason why they're fighting others is because they feel like that their life is in jeopardy. So the thing to appeal to people is the fact that you believe in your life. When you take care of your body, mind, and spirit, and you come off peaceful, and you come off empathetic, and you understand that they're fighting for their life, just like you're fighting for your life, that's when the war stops. But it's when people don't understand that people are fighting for their lives and feel like they're not being heard, and you're not even taking care of your own life, which means you're not exemplifying, someone that really values life, then yeah, there are a lot of mixed messages out there. Okay? And then we have people that are agitators that will do things to make people react. And that the strongest person out there does not react to somebody's poking them and prodding them. They walk away. Unless you're being held captive by somebody, you have the ability to walk away and not engage. Because I'll tell you, I get poked all the time. But instead of me responding to them back and forth, I'll do a response that's pretty universal. But I block and delete. I don't go back and forth. Because there's no point. I'm not going to change their mind. And they may have a whole different agenda that's completely opposite of mine. And who knows what the hell their intentions are. And I'm not going to even try to figure out what their intentions are. But I know they want to live. Or they wouldn't be doing what they're doing. Okay? And so if you understand that everybody at the root level wants to live, and the way they manifest their wanting to live is a little bit imbalanced, you have to realize that you don't have a dog in that fight. That's how I want to say it. You do not have a dog in that fight. So take yourself out of the war. Take care of your own body, mind, and spirit. Because that's what it comes down to, is your own body, mind, and spirit. That is going to then project out there either war or peace. And then you will adapt to your environment, and that'll be an internal battle. It won't be projected out there because it'll be within. Okay? But I had to do this video again because it's been a while since I've talked about the technicalities of high blood pressure and prostaglandins. And so I was using different words that obviously weren't correct. So I had to change it. But anyways, whatever. When you're going from the macro to the micro and the micro to the macro, it's a lot of information. It's a lot. And then dealing with people's fears and misconceptions about minerals. People are like, oh yeah, the whole Morgellons and heavy metals. Well, yeah, the whole Morgellons is that people are producing or accumulating fibers and heavy metals in their body that they're not able to release, and it's causing an interaction with their system, and then they're having inflammation and other types of issues. And so this is why we have these new diseases, because people are constantly reproducing on bodies that have not resolved generational issues. And so new diseases come about. You're like, oh my God, now they put the COVID-19 in the vaccines. Well, hell yeah, because the reason why is because people have to be able to adapt to the environment. And babies that have never been exposed to the COVID or the different mutations of it, they're going to have to be exposed to it in some way. And so, yeah, the vaccine is a type of a representation of the environment. But you're seeing people that are like, I'm not going to get any vaccine. My babies are not going to get any vaccines. And so then they'll be subject to try to adapt to an environment. And they were born from chaos. Babies are born from imbalances and chaos. Okay? And if they don't have what it takes to survive an aggressive environment, they will die. Okay? That's basically how it happens. So, but I can't tell that to somebody that is so staunch who's an anti-vaxxer. I can't tell that to them. They have predispositions. They are in the victim blaming mode. They will not hear my message at all. So I write a book. And say, hey, this is how it works. No matter what, the JJs will handle whatever politics you have. And then eventually your politics are going to change. And if your politics don't change, then maybe you need to up the intake of your nutrition level and heal and seal. And then take yourself out of the war so you can actually rest. So you can rest, you can repair, you can sleep when you need to. You're not always going. And you're able to just regenerate at the micro level. But there are some people out there that I know personally that can't rest. They're so wanting to be busy. They've been taught they have to be busy from sun up to sundown. And the only way they get rest is when their body forces them to. And I'm just like, Jesus. You are shortening your telomeres when you don't rest and you don't regenerate at the micro level. And that's when people are taught. That's what also people are taught that you should die at some point. And that I don't know. It's crazy. So I've been dealing with the COVID. The mutations are out there. I've been really tired lately. So, coming off of just being really tired and sleeping for a few hours. I slept yesterday from maybe 2 to like 5. I slept for 3 hours yesterday. 3 freaking hours. I'm like, holy crap. The day before, I slept for a few hours. You know, my dog went through her own, recalibration to this COVID because it's mutating. And so she took the J juice with the maple syrup in it because she needed to, and she bounced back. So my dog is like a canary in the coal mine. You know, I can tell when the environment's changing by how she reacts. She's actively upgrading. You know, all animals, if animals have predispositions and humans have predispositions, the environment, a new environment is going to bring them up, and that's your body trying to adapt. And if you are constantly plying your body with pills, powder supplements, and detoxes and painkillers, you are now inhibiting your prostaglandins. You are constricting your blood vessels to where, yes, predispositions like heart attacks and strokes and dying from them are going to be on the horizon. That's why J juice is so important, because it does expand your blood vessels. It allows the prostaglandins to release when it needs to. Yes, you're going to feel pain. You've got to deal with your predispositions. You've got to support your body with the sugars and with the salts and with the electrolytes and with the minerals and with the food, so the body can finally heal at the root level. So when you adapt to the new environment, your body isn't taking a hit every single time it adapts. But when people are not doing the J juice and they try to adapt to this environment, they are taking hits. And that's when you see years, decades come off people's lives. They say the COVID will take 10 years off your life. So you may have experienced something like a COVID and survived it, but I see people dealing with the COVID or whatever, and I've seen them like after even a couple weeks, their beards are going gray. The minerals they're being depleted from their hair, skin, and nails to keep their heart and their lungs and their kidneys and their liver going. When there's no more minerals left that can help keep the vital organs going, that's when people die. And that's what people are facing. So when you're seeing people going gray, and you're seeing, obesity and grayness and the nails are deficient and mineral deficient, you know that at some point it's not going to be too long before a mutation of that COVID is going to cause then a major event that a person would not survive from. And so those are indicators. The aging process is an indicator of deficiency in your nutritional intake. You got leaky gut, you have wasted energy. You're trying to be busy and keeping up with everybody around you, but you don't have what it takes, and then people just pass away left and right. And they're like, oh my God, the guy was so healthy. No, he wasn't. Do you really know his history? You don't know what his guy's dealing with. When you're dealing with migraines, you're dealing with headaches, you're dealing with all these different things on a continuous basis. And that's like, aneurysms. And then you get exposed to the COVID. Okay. Then you get exposed to the COVID, and then that is going to tax your body, mind, and spirit. You're going to bring up antibodies, and that's where blood types come in. Type O negative is the best blood type, but it doesn't get you out of the woods. I mean, I know people who are O negative who are obese, but if they did the J juice, their healing process would not be as extreme. Oh yeah, it'll be definitely painful in some ways, but they're not going to be dealing with as many predispositions as someone that's type A. Why people are dying from the COVID? Because they're type A. They have the surface marker antigen that's causing more antibodies, and then they get exposed to the COVID, which brings up more antibodies. That's when people die from heart attacks and strokes and have bronchial issues and who knows what else. Okay? So probably why I survived the COVID, because the last time I checked, I was O positive, but I could be O negative now. Okay? So if you are type A, yeah, you're going to have a hard time adapting. But in the J juice, you have more of a chance than not. But if you're not doing the J juice and you're a type A, especially when they say that type A blood is really in danger of not surviving the COVID, then you better get on the J juice and release some of those antibodies. Because when you test positive for any type of antibody, it means you have a lot of them. Yes, it shows you have protection, but remember, everything's about balance. You can have too much protection. Okay, when you have too much protection, then you're like in jail. Have you seen people who live in a gilded cage like the royals? They have so much protection that they can't move around anywhere. They're stuck in their golden jail of a palace. Okay? So there's such thing as too much protection and not enough. It's all about balance. Agility Juice is about balance. So, all right. That's all I got to say. You have a good day. Bye.